Welcome to Market Faith. Today I'm so delighted at the opportunity to just be able to share with you and bring you thoughts that can help you and help your business to grow and to scale, as the case may be, right? Today we want to continue a series of conversations we've been having around achieving financial freedom. So achieving freedom in your finances, whether in your business, in your personal life, and all those types of things. Because the reality for most people is the fact that we start business because we want to be financially free, but for many people that has not really been their experience. And so we're doing this series so that we can help people achieve the kind of financial freedom that they're looking forward to, which is probably the reason why they started business in the first place. All right, so we talked about why financial freedom is important, what exactly it is, what exactly it means, right? And then the last time we talked about how to grow your income, and today I want to focus a bit more on that, zero in on a few more things that you can do to grow your income, especially if you are if you're a business person. So what we tried to do the last time was to focus a little bit on people who are more inclined to working a 9 to 5 and to see how those people we can help in suggesting some thoughts and ideas that can help them become better. Now, the other thing is that as I share this, it's very important that you understand that these are just suggestions. These are things that you probably just need to get you thinking. You want to really probably also talk to a certified financial advisor. I'm a certified accountant, right? So I kind of understand a number of the things that I'm saying, but in your specific situation, there may be peculiarities that this generic conversation does not deal with. And so what I encourage you to do is to go ahead and seek more specific advice in your own peculiar situation. Or you can send me a DM on Instagram. I'll be happy to take a look and see how much of those questions I can really answer and respond to. All right, but just doing a brief recap from some of the things we talked about the last time. We talked about the fact that without an income, it is difficult to achieve financial freedom. You need to start from the place of building an income, generating income, and generating growth. We said that your income should do 3 things for you. Number 1, it should meet your basic needs. Number 2, it should allow you help others. And number 3, it should be able to keep something for the future. As a matter of fact, you need to get more money, especially if you're in a situation where you cannot live on about 35 to 40% of what you earn, you cannot give about 10% of what you earn away, and you cannot save about 50% of what you earn for the future. All right, so if you are in that situation, it is very critical that you consider how to increase your income. Right now, we talked about the fact that if you're working a job, there are several things you can do, and we shared a number of ideas. You want to go back to that video and check it out on my page on Instagram, and just check it out and see some of the things that we discussed and that we talked about. We talked about also about 5 different sources of income. You can get a job, you can get a business, you can have an inheritance, you can do investments, or you can beg, right? Of course, no one wants to beg. Inheritances are not really that common. Investments, no one has made the investment. You are the one that's about to make the investment. So what most people will have at their disposal is their job and their business. All right, so those are the things that we talked about, and you want to get that video because we shared a lot of things in detail that we probably are not able to go into again right now. All right, so today I want to focus a bit more and talk about some of the things that you can do to really grow your income, especially if you are a business person. If you're somebody who runs an entity, or who is someone who is looking to start a business, what are some of the things that you can do and all of that. Now, here's the thing, right? And if you listen to people like Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett, one of the things they will tell you is that your biggest hedge against inflation in any environment or in any economy is your skill. I'll say that again. Your biggest hedge against inflation or any environment is your skill. Now, not just any skill, but a skill that is valued by your environment, that is valued by your society. All right, so some of the things I'll say today, there may be some overlaps with some of the things I've said last week, right? right? But it is critical that you understand it in holistically and see how you can leverage that information to do what exactly it is that you need to do. So it's very, very important that you understand that the biggest thing that you can control, the biggest thing within your control is your skill level, your ability to get things done, your superior skill level. That's perhaps the biggest thing that you can control when it comes to you earning an income and you making more money in whatever it is that you are doing. Okay, so having a skill is about building your skill in an area that is valued significantly by your environment. I'm going to show you a chart. I'm going to show you two charts actually, some circles and then a chart that will help you see what exactly it is that I'm talking about, and that will drive home the point, right? But the point is this: you want to ensure that the nature of the skill that you have is such that even though your price increases, right, you also have more customers who are willing to pay as that price increases. So for example, if you have essential skills, right, like a doctor, like a lawyer, these are skills that no matter how bad things get in an economy, people will still pay for these particular skills, right? That's the kind of skill that you want to have. We're in a knowledge economy, we're in an information economy. Your ability to code is going to be very critical. So if you know how to code, chances are that you will be in high demand, right, in your environment. And the beautiful thing, the other thing about this is the fact that when it comes to your skill, you must understand that it's a moving target as well, right? 20 years ago, 30 years ago, maybe developers were not in as high demand as they are today. 20 years from now, 15 years from now, maybe developers will be everywhere, such that almost everyone is a developer. Once a baby comes out of the womb and they are 5 years old, they probably can start to learn how to code or whatever, right? But the point is this, right? You also need to understand what is valued in your environment. In most economies, doctors will be valued. In most economies, lawyers will be valued, right? Because, you know, lawyers are critical, right? You know, they're just important, right? And the way our world has been structured is such that, you know, you really need them. In most economies, marketers will be valued, salespeople will be valued, right? But selling will probably turn out differently than the way most of us have known selling, right? But maybe some skills may not be as valued in some environments as some other environments. You need to understand your local context and see how well this works. So let me show you this chart here, right? What you want to do is to ensure that whatever it is that you're doing, and I hope everyone can see this, right? But whatever it is that you're doing, you want a situation where things are working out for you more in this first chart than in this second chart. In other words, you want your paying customers to rise at a level that is higher than your ability to increase price. So if you're increasing your price based on inflation, the question is this: do you get more customers, you know, are being able to afford you, right? If the reverse is the case, where as your price increases, the number of customers who can afford you begins to drop, then this is not the kind of business that you want to be in. This is not the kind of environment that you want to be in. And I'll give you an example, right? You know, my background is management consulting, etc., right? But management consulting, the way we were doing it at the time, right, is not necessarily as valuable as, you know, then as it is today, compared to what it was in the days when I started management consulting. What that means is that the more management consultants increase their price, the less customers are able to match that price because they are finding someone who is willing to do it at a cheaper rate. Okay, so if, for example, even if all consultants, right, and again, depending on what area of consulting, right? So for example, one of the areas of consulting that is literally everywhere is training, right? Especially in my environment, in my market, right? Almost every single person is a trainer, right? If you go and meet someone in an organization and you're asking them to give you a contract, probably the easiest contract to give to you is a training contract. Now, what that means is that your ability to negotiate will not be very significant. Why? Because because there are several people that can do those trainings, especially if there are soft skills trainings like time management. In fact, these days, emotional intelligence, almost anybody can train on emotional intelligence. It doesn't mean that it's a bad business. It just means that you may not be able to increase your price in line with inflation. If you are in a business like that, where the more things get expensive, the lower you are able to increase your price, then that's not a good business to be. I'll give you another example. Let's assume you bake cakes, right? And the price of your ingredients for baking cakes is increasing, but customers are not willing to pay that much for a cake, a 12-inch cake or a 10-inch cake or a 6-inch cake, as the case may be, right? Then you need to start thinking about doing another business where you can increase your price in line with inflation, and the number of people willing to pay will also increase. What I'm saying to you today is fundamental. It is absolutely critical for you as a business person. Even if you're not a business person and you are an employee or you are self-employed, you must understand that. Ask yourself the question, and ask that question honestly, right? Are you able to increase your price in line with inflation? Or if you increase your price, your customers will drop off. If you are in a business where, as your cost of doing that business increases, you cannot increase your price commensurately in that way, then you are not in a very good business. You want to get out of that business as quickly as possible, pivot and do something else that can add value. When you're in a business that is a commodity, you want to think about something else that you can do that can add value in that regard, and something that people will be willing to pay for. All right. So, but when you sell essential services, when you sell essential products, right, then it becomes a very interesting thing for you to do, because you can always control and dictate the price, as the case may be. Okay. So, and the reality is that many business owners are in situations where they cannot really increase their price, and that is not a good place to be. Now, how do you know what skill is you need to deploy? Right? If you're in a place where maybe you've said, look, I've identified the fact that I probably need a new business. I've identified the fact that I probably need a new way to earn money, right? Because what I'm doing right now is not working. Or maybe you're just in a place where today things are working, but 5 years down the line, you think that this thing is going to dry up. You need to start working on it now. We're talking about how to increase your income as far as your business is concerned. It is difficult to increase your income if your skill, you cannot charge premium for your skill. You cannot charge higher for what you do. All right. So for example, some of you may be able to add additional services to what you do. So maybe in addition to your training services, there are other things that you can add that bolsters your ability to increase your price, and it helps your ability to charge more to your customers. But if you are not in that kind of place, then you want to find another skill. Now, if you are in a place where you need to find another skill to build and to develop, the reality is that you may not get there today, but you may get there in 3 years. You may get there in 2 years, right? So what you need to do is the second chart that I want to show you, all right? So here's what I encourage people to do, right? I learned this thing also from listening to some of the brightest minds in our world, right? So if you look at these three circles, right? The first circle I have here says what you are good at. So if this circle constitutes what you are good at, the second circle here says, what do you enjoy doing, right? The third circle, which is at the bottom here, and probably the most important circle, is what your society values. This is super critical. If you are looking for a way to make money, you need to understand these three circles that I'm showing you right now, okay? The first one is this: what are you good at, right? The second thing is this: what do you enjoy doing? Some people are good. I met a friend the other day. Look, he says, I'm very good at banking, but I don't enjoy banking, right? But I'm very good at banking. My society values it. I am in the A quadrant, right? If you are very good at something, okay, you enjoy doing it, but your society doesn't value it, then you are in this quadrant, and this is not a good place to be. Some of you are here, you enjoy doing graphic design, but nobody in your environment really values it. Change what you are offering. That's the reality. I can try and, I can try and psych you from now to next year, work on your marketing, work on this and that. If you have a bad product, it doesn't matter how many times you market it. No one buys a bad product. All right. So they might buy it the first time, but they will not do repeat business. So this is the circle you want to look at. The sweetest spot, the sweetest place to be is in the C quadrant here, where it is a combination of what you are good at, what you enjoy doing, and what your society values. Now, please note that I underlined the word your, because what we're referring to here is in your environment. In other words, what is valued in the United States may not be valued in Nigeria. What is valued in Nigeria may not be valued in Zambia, may not be valued in Tanzania, may not be valued in Kenya. You need to figure out what your society values, right? This is the most important circle, which is why I didn't even put anything here, because if you are good at something and you enjoy doing it and nobody values it, which is here, then I don't encourage you to do it. There's no point doing it. But if people value it, right, then you are going to be able to charge for it, right? So for example, if you are into digital marketing and all of that, but there are so many digital marketing people and many people are now learning how to do these things themselves, then my brother, my sister, you really want to rethink how exactly you are adding value in that regard, right? If you are into restaurant business, right, and people are no longer eating out, more and more people are eating in, and people are doing cooking indoors, right? Again, depending on what is going on in your environment, then you want to be sure that you are doing what your society values. Right here is the most important place. The sweetest place to be is C. A is also good, B is also good, but don't ever be here, because you will not make money here. At A, you will still make some money. At B, you will still make some money. At C, you will not only make money, you will have fun doing whatever it is that you're doing. But guess what? The best place to be is what your society values. Now, having said that, it is critical. The question then becomes, how do you know what your society values? And we're going to close with this. How do you know what your society values? Number one, look at the jobs that are being advertised for. What is it that people are looking for people for? Number two, look at the high-paying jobs in your environment. What jobs are people doing? And people are earning over $1,000 a month, over $2,000 a month. Those types of jobs, right? $5,000, $10,000 a month, as the case may be in your environment. Those are the things that your society values. If you cannot find those things, then it is going to be very difficult. So identify the ones that you can do, figure out which ones you can relate with, and build your career there. And seek to be the best person at it. Because if you are the best at what you do, you can dictate your price. But if you compete at the level of being a commodity, then it's going to be very difficult for you to dictate your price. So how do you grow your income as a business? Make sure that you have a skill that people value in your environment, and then offer that skill to as many people as you possibly can. And then make sure that that skill is such that you can always dictate your price and you can increase your price as the case may be. Hey, I hope that was helpful for you today. I hope you learned something. Let me know in the comment sections what you think. All right. And I'll be super happy to answer more of your questions as the case may be. Once again, thank you so much for joining me today. God bless you. I'll see you next time.